here early. Sometimes it's good to be early. But our show starts at a specific time. You should remember that. Let's get started then, shall we?
Dillon, I don't give a fuck what you think about a co-host and freshen up my show.
It might not be flashy, but sometimes you just gotta toss another person to make a statement.
My show's about the people's podcast. Everyone has a voice. I don't need a fucking co-host. Go listen to one of the other 5,000 shows with a co-host because they don't have a goddamn mouth like the big guy and can fucking talk all day long. Now let me concentrate on this game, whooping this little fella ass.
Opie, are you a career killer with Tim Sabian, yourself, and many others?
Be myself. Never had real issues with those people. They just understood that I was a different bird. The rest of them, though, I'm like, oh, shut up. I'm paying your salary because the ratings are so good, so shut up. And let me do my thing.
Hey, live from somewhere. It's
Dillon.
Welcome to another episode of Cohost Auditions. I am your co-host, Dillon. Today, our host, once again, for the second time, is Sarah Silverman. And, oh boy, I was not prepared my first time around for Sarah Silverman. She is not doing well these days. And I made up a life plan for wellness with some of our recurring guests who could be doing better in their lives. So we are focusing on Sarah Silverman today. She needs to perform with Stampin' Up! Card making conventions and tour around the country, take up the card making and other crafts, and move to San Diego. Her and Donkey Lips need to get the fuck out of Los Angeles. So I do have a couple of examples here. I found some Christmas cards that I made up. Sarah, you could have so much fun making cards for your family, for occasions, for birthdays. You don't want to overexert yourself. So you see, mine are pretty simple. You could do these en masse for your entire family for Hanukkah or whatever holiday. As we see, we have the white Santa, and the black Santa was actually for my Latino friend who's a bigger fan of black Santa than white Santa. And once we get to Sarah, we will see she's dressed in all black. So she looks like she's dressed as a mime. I've got on my best mime shirt. And actually, we've got a clip before we get to Sarah Silverman of another person who is taking their crafting and having some fun with it. And he's actually selling merch. He doesn't plug it on here, but you can buy T-shirts of this knitter's sweaters. He does not sell sweaters of his sweaters, but he makes custom sweaters for himself, and he sells T-shirts of them. So give us a little what was your name again, sir? It was Sam Barsky. Sam Barsky is selling T-shirts of his knitted sweatshirts, and tell us about this one, Sam.
The first sweater I ever made with a picture of a specific landmark was the Twin Towers. That was in May 2001, before any of us imagined what would happen. Today is September 11th, and by coincidence happens to be the first time ever it came up on September 11th in the sequence in which I show a sweater a day.
So poor Sam appears to have the hero's ability of Mr. Isak of being able to find future events that are absolute atrocities and knit them rather than paint them like Mr. Isak did in Heroes. Hopefully he will not end up the same way. Siler may come looking for you to get your knitting powers, Sam. So please be careful out there, Mr. Barsky. We look forward to more of your sweaters as we go forward. Was there anything else about Sarah Silverman's wellness? Well, a lot. There's a lot about her wellness. We miss you, charming Sarah. Oh, I didn't pull the Voyager clips back when she was a happy, charming person before she got in whatever situation that got her to be such a curmudgeon. Curmudgeon? Sad. She's just sad. So here, this episode of the Sarah Silverman Show is called Grief, Benji, P. I don't believe she's talking about Benji Bronk, but it would be fun if she is. And that just made me laugh. Sarah is just walking, talking grief. And she's reacting to a video here. Let's get going.
I'm plugging 6 points. In the village, the peaceful village, the lion sleeps.
I love at the end, he's talks about Six Flags, and then he's literally, and he's like, hey, I'm plugging Six Flags over here. Oh, Benji, thank you for that.
Look how quickly the happiness leaves her face. What a facade. That. Let's do some mime work together, Sarah. We will get out of this box together.
Absolute joy. I don't know what special I was watching. It wasn't this latest one, because I think she sent this to me before that came out. Must have been one of my previous specials. And of course, it's sweet that I'm talking about my dad. All right, let's take some voicemails.
You left me a message.
See, Sarah is an actress, and she can put it on. She's acting right here, and you don't see just the absolute grief that she carries with her all day, every day, from whatever the fuck. I actually have a family member that's carrying around grief from every death that's happened since the year 2000, maybe before. But Sarah Silverman really reminds me of that family member who is having a really hard time with grief and mental health nowadays.
Hi, Sarah.
Look at that 2,000-yard stare. Ooh, that's a definite Command Shift 3 there. That's a good one for
This
episode
is Sarah from New York.
Like
I called you once when I was pregnant about 2 years ago, and I asked you.
I do have to give Sarah Silverman points for getting the voicemails and the phone system through the proper audio system, unlike our good buddy Ryback.
But
he's
the reason
our good buddy Ryback, for those who have not seen that episode, just perches his phone next to the speaker or the microphone rather, and puts it on speaker mode, and it sounds fucking awful. And he keeps doing it.
Was for
he
your
doesn't need a co-host, as you can see in my intro. He is very against a co-host, no matter how awful his program is solo.
last cry. Now I'm calling because I'm wondering. I've noticed that you have a very healthy relationship with death and with grief.
That would be one of the few things that she's healthy about nowadays.
Just wondering how you got there, and
I don't
you
have
can
a
speak on
bullshit
that
drop. I need to
a
get
little
a
bit.
bullshit drop.
Give us some insight. Thank you so much. I love you.
Damn, I missed that
Goodbye.
Command Shift 3 of
Thank you. Look, yeah, you may notice that I have a healthy relationship with death and grief. But I will remind you that you see me for a little less than an hour a week. And
okay, so she is agreeing with me. If I would have had that bullshit drop, Sarah is actually agreeing with me.
Pretty much my best self during these times. But yeah, I've had a lot of people, unfortunately, die in my life. Close people. And
did every single close person die to you? We'll call you Opie Silverman.
And with my parents dying last month, that last 3 weeks with them was just I was consumed with sadness, just my entire being. And of course, whilst all of that is going on, I'm also in all three of my
last time, didn't we? I think we sped up Sarah to a time and a half. Sam Roberts definitely got sped up 1.5 times. But yeah, the way you are speaking here, Sarah, I'm not going to be able to get through this at regular speed.
My sisters, all of us, all hands on deck, are just doing nonstop work. You don't think about all the logistics that come with a loved one dying, dealing with the hospital, dealing with hospice workers, payments, what's covered by this and what's not, and what in mortuary, and the mortuary, and the reaching out to their friends the best we could.
This is a good example of why she was a stand-up comedian. She would go on tour and really work out those bits, sand down the parts that weren't funny, and get the good setup punchline. This is not your forte, working off the cuff. There's no little jokes here. You're just bringing your audience down, Ms. Silverman, talking about the logistics of getting a funeral and everything together.
Which we whiffed in a lot of ways. Organizing care, learning to do the care. Thank goodness, there's 4 girls. There's all of us sisters were there, and 2 nieces. And
oh yeah, thank goodness all the girls were there. If any of the men were involved, Jesus Christ, who would know how that would have gone? It would have been a disaster, right, Sarah?
And a nephew, all adults. And we were just all hands on deck, and still it was an overwhelming amount of work, while being just in an intense.
Oh, she hasn't gotten over that. Look at those eyes. Look at you're not over that death, are you? That caller is completely full of shit in calling you dealing very well with grief. Look at the pain in your eyes as you're talking about this. I don't know how recent it is. Everyone grieves at their own pace, but you do want to, get back to a regular base at some point and not have that grief overcome you. Just trickle in at times.
Intense level of grief, sadness, pre-grief. But boy, we were able to have some real quality time with them, especially with Dad.
The pre.
And we were lucky in that we were able to get closure with them, but I just cling to the fact that they shed their sick, ailing, no longer functioning skin suits and are now free.
Okay, there's almost a joke there. There's almost a joke there. Sarah, she has no lives on her channel. Does she do these live? I think you should do about 3 to 6 takes of these. Find some fun little portions, like you did with stand-up. Find the fun portions. I don't think you should release take 1. This, I believe, is you're just doing one take and doing. I don't know if you're releasing it live or live to tape, because live to tape is still a phrase that's used in 2023.
And I hope I know that they are out of pain, and we're the ones that hurt. We're the ones hurting, and which I take comfort in. I can handle my own pain. Seeing them in pain was brutal, especially Janice, and knowing that they are no longer struggling. That
ooh, a Janice Soprano drop would be really fun now. I need help getting drops. I've bogged myself down with so much nonsense that I haven't pulled any drops in a couple of weeks.
Makes me feel immense relief, but it's it's rough. My shrink said something really great last week because
did he, Sarah? If you've got Howard Stern's shrink, no, he didn't. That shrink is a fraud. Whoever Howard.
We're gonna go.
And I'm accusing you of seeing. Some are frauds. Some do their jobs.
Do a picnic at their gravesite, and this weekend, and my shrink said, and he was quoting someone else, I think, but he's like, when you go visit your loved one at the cemetery, just know they are in the car with you on the way there, and they leave with you when you on the way back home. And the gravesite is just where their bones are, but they're with you, So if it
ghosts, Sarah, ghosts exist, and we don't know where, we don't know why or where, but ghosts are places at times.
Means something to you, and it will mean something to us. It's something we're doing for ourselves to feel connected with them. But I mean, I think kind of everything we do, it's like, oh, that was Janice, or that was Dad doing that, or and we can assign these meaningful things, which I think is religion kind of at its core. It's like assigning meaning to everyday things,
Yeah, if I reviewed these ahead of time, there would be Janice Soprano's drops. But I am seeing this for the first time along with you. I am the co-host here. I am not a.
And that's kind of the nice.
Thought I had a point there. I'll sharpen that up and come back to that point later.
Part of religion, if should you be religious, which I'm not, but this feels religious. Anyway, that's all I got for you. I don't know if that was helpful at all, but
thank you, Sarah. See you next week.
Yeah, I'm just a person, but I'm trying to figure it out. And that one thing has always helped me with death is that they are not suffering. We're suffering, and that I can handle.
Here's some ads.
Chime, baby. Good money habits start with your very first paycheck. And if you've just scored your first job, you've got an opportunity to jumpstart a healthy financial journey. When you sign up for Chime and link a qualifying direct or no monthly fee, it's technology. Members.
Boy, the ads were entertaining last week, though, when she did pre-production on those ads that were very poorly done. Here she's just doing like they were radio reads, which Opie did poorly, didn't he? Oh, yeah, that's right. Opie did the Wawa read yesterday, and he did it very badly. Wawa Hoagie Fest going on until July 16th. Go down to your local Wawa for a hoagie.
Sarah for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
And we're back.
Hey, Sarah.
I want Sarah to just do the jingles show. Just jingle after jingle. Here, I'm introducing a thing, do one thing. That would be fun. That would kind of go along with the kooky personality that she made up. That she was. That was an extension of herself. And now, the new comedy special. I think I mentioned this last time. I can't watch it because that personality is bullshit. That fun-loving, obtuse comedian does not exist anymore because you've shown us she doesn't exist with all these podcasts and all the things you do in real life, and I don't buy it. You're trying to do the personality that you used to do, and we used to believe it was you, and I believe it was you, but you're not that anymore. Bring that lady back, Sarah. You miss her.
I am 24 years old, and I have been self-harming since I was 13.
Oh, if only I had a Jackie. Yeah, I'm way behind on my drops.
More specifically, cutting. I'm hoping that people who would be triggered by that click out when they hear me say self-harm. I can't stop, and I feel like a child. Like I have a child.
Sarah, is this a comedy show? What? I think I asked this last time. What is this under? This is. Are you reviewing these beforehand? Is anyone reviewing these voicemails beforehand? Like advice shows and comedy shows belong in two different categories. Am I reviewing am I co-hosting a life advice show? In that case, let's bring up the graph again. We have got some advice for Sarah. We've got some advice for Donkey Lips and Ray DeVito. Shuli, we've got a life plan for wellness for a lot of the people who we've hit on this program. And Sarah, just to find a hobby that you enjoy. I think performing seems to be overwhelming you right now. Take a break and come back to it after you've made a few hundred cards by hand for your friends and family.
Child problem, and I don't know how to grow the fuck up and stop and treat myself with love the way
those eyes. I shouldn't be laughing. It's at such a serious call, but Sarah's. I believe she is indeed getting 100% emotionally invested in this.
Treat everybody else.
I don't believe this is.
Have you ever struggled with this? Do you know anyone who's struggled with this? Is it all okay?
Oh my God, I just want to hug you. Yeah, it's all okay. I don't know about this stuff really, but it's interesting you said I feel like a child, like there's a child's problem. And you know what? One, it's not. But two, it is. I think all our problems are child's problems. And the way we can deal with them is by being our own, parenting ourselves. Again, I don't know a lot about this, but I've read a little.
You're calling Sarah Silverman for life advice? I think you're better off just self-harming than taking Sarah Silverman's advice. Call me nutty.
A little bit about it. And I know that the most common human condition.
And once again, Sarah Silverman, 1999, might have had good advice, but this husk of a human, no.
Is feeling that we are not enough. And I think cutting and stuff like that stems from that. And the good news is you're not alone in feeling that way. That is the human condition.
Out.
And we are enough, even and especially.
Get confident, stupid.
You. I think cutting is, like a release valve for stress and anxiety, for distress. And I think there are groups for this. I know there are, which I think, again, is always a great, great way to work on.
Well, since we're not doing a comedy show, Sarah, why not throw in my 2 cents? My self-harming, I didn't stick to anything. The cutting did not last long. The trichotillomania stuck around for a while. The ripping out of the hair, that's something that I kept on doing for a bit longer than other self-harming. But, the wellness, find someone to talk to and work it out. Notice your flaws and the things you don't like and fix them. And God damn it, this is a comedy podcast, Sarah. What are you doing to me?
On stuff like this. To be in a group with other people that know exactly what you're going through and are in different stages of getting well and helping each other and understanding each other and really being able to help each other is going to be, as far as I know, your best bet. And I hope you do that. And you can do it by Zoom. I'm pretty positive. I mean, this is where I would go. I would search and then I'd give you commas to say in between words. I've recently learned that commas are not read by our computers. But to be in a group for cutting where you are with people in different phases of recovery, I think would be a really, really smart, helpful move for you. So number one, I would get into a group therapy situation for cutters for self-harm. And I've read that there are ways to try to trick the mind, and that's
And I do have to promote self-help groups. I do have my 1 month chip from Shuli's Anonymous. It has been since May 16th since I have listened to the Shuli Network live, since he really exposed what type of human he is, and I cannot support such a thing. So yeah, support groups are very big. Shuli's Anonymous on Reddit. Get your chip, and be sure to be honest. If you listen to the Shuli Network again, you will have to get a new chip. I am days away from my 2 month chip of listening to the Shuli Network. Thank you so much, Shuli's Anonymous, for keeping me posted on what that fool is doing with small clips, so I don't have to turn in this. And really, I shouldn't be watching those small clips, but thank you, Toucan Sambo, for all your work, so I can giggle at the doofus that I can't believe I was a fan of. I'm not proud of myself, but that's why we carry around our 1 month chip from Shuli's Anonymous, 2 month chip coming soon. I am no longer using, I no longer support incompetent, smug motherfuckers.
That's so much of what we do to cope, to trick the mind away from stuff like cutting, like, and these are probably, this may not be helpful, but because they're simple kind of a change of, like going outside or running, exercise. When I feel extreme anxiety or rage, boy, I love to just run and run. I'm lying. I'm a power walker. I don't run, but sometimes I run.
Sarah just felt like running. We've got a lot of Forrest Gump references this week on the show. Now tell me, Sarah, did you just get to a coast and then you just felt like running again?
I live near a hill, and boy, I've just been really ragey and frustrated and just gone and just run as fast as I can up that hill until I can't anymore. And it just, boy, it helps. Or a hot bath was a suggestion. I don't know that is the cure for you, but I
gotta do karaoke.
My instinct is that maybe you've got some like shame around.
Do you do karaoke, Sarah? Let's go out, do your favorite song. I bet you'll feel better.
Your depression or your sadness, your hurt, and our instinct when we are hurt is to make someone else feel that hurt. And I think with people who self-harm,
oh yeah, that feels real good. Let me take you down a peg. I'm down a further peg, and look at you, I knocked you down a peg. Hooray! Fucking that hate is addicting, and that's why I have put a limit on my hate podcasts. My detractor podcast has a lifetime on it. Let's get this horse shit out. Be done with it.
You're your own someone else. Would you say that's true? I don't know. This is potentially a very ignorant theory. I'm not sure, but you're inflicting pain in order to feel in control. I do believe that self-harm, that cutting is
we're still on this,
is a symptom of when you feel a lack of control in your life. So, when you're having feelings of no control, yeah, I get it.
Let's see. Grief, Benji, P. P. You're spending 20 minutes of your podcast talking about something that is not in any way funny, a very serious subject on your podcast named P. I think you're doing it weird, Sarah.
And I understand that. I think a lot of people understand and have different coping mechanisms for feeling a lack of control over their lives. And this one has taken hold with you. And boy, the feeling of having no control is so scary. And I wonder if making friends with that is something to try. Instead of fearing it, try to be on the edge of your seat about it, about not knowing what's next in this life.
Oh, God damn. Every time I think I'm prepared for Sarah Silverman, but I'm not. Jesus Christ.
It's so funny because we hate that life is a roller coaster, and yet we pay money to ride roller coasters. Like there's a real love-hate vibe of this feeling that we have no control. So maybe try to make friends with that feeling. Try to see the fear as kind of shift the fear into exhilaration. I mean, I'm talking out of my ass as always, but I think there might be something to that because it is what is.
You are not talking out of your ass. Ace Ventura talked out of his ass. Now let's see you bend over and give us a Testicle Tuesday.
But more than that, whilst you are open to advice,
that doesn't make a lick of sense.
Ask someone who knows. Join a therapy group for self-harm. Will you do that? I'd be so happy if you did that. And you sound so wonderful.
Yeah, my family member who really needs to join a self-help group for grief absolutely will not do it. That seems to be a boomer thing, that if you seek help, that if you admit having brain problems and you can't admit it, nope, I'm doing great, I will not fix it because I am fine. I will not admit defeat by talking about the truth of not doing well.
So wonderful. And maybe check back in and let us know how you're doing in a few months or 6 months or a year. I'd love to hear back from you. Listen, I only just heard your beautiful, vulnerable, brave, honest voice, and I love you. So good luck.
Could you have I just want this to not be part of your comedy podcast. This can be part of your self-help podcast, and that could be two different things. Actually, two different things. Not like Miserable Men and whatever one of the other fucking 9 are that are the same thing. Back to the Habitat, so on. So
and you know what?
forth.
We'll post a helpline or anything we can find that might help you or anyone else. Let's do that. Here it is. I'm pointing to it. Am I? I don't know. Okay. What else?
Hello. I have a personal question. You seem very...
This has been a very special episode of the Sarah Silverman podcast. If you or anyone that you know are experiencing troubles, please contact a professional.
Friendly, very nice person.
Okay, here we go. Please tell me this voicemail leads to comedy. Please.
A person who can deal with any kind of people. And I'd like to know about you. Is there any situation when you don't feel friendly at all?
Yes. I mean, listen, I have
for the past 10 years.
I have my moments, certainly, but I am a people person in general. I love being alone, but when I'm out, I'm usually...
What about those people with different political opinions, Sarah? Are you a people person to them, or are you a ghoul?
Interested in people. I like talking to strangers and stuff. I mean, it's a little different, the dynamic, because some people know who I am, or they, and then it changes the chemistry a little, and sometimes that's wonderful, and sometimes it's a bummer. But in terms of being unfriendly to people, not usually, but yes, sometimes I am. Sometimes my gut says do not be open.
Okay, so people with different political opinions aren't people. I think you're doing a loophole there of how you're always kind to people, because you say nasty, awful things about people who have different opinions than you, Sarah.
Been with this person and just keep it going and moving right along, and it has served me well. And I think that's okay. I'm fine with it. What else?
Hi, Sarah. This is Blank. Over decades, men have been yelled at for peeing on the seat, but I'm not sure if you've noticed, but women pee under the seat. So if you lift up the seat, you'll notice on the underside that there's drips on there.
That's still your pee.
I clean it off often. Now it makes me think that those seats that are horseshoe that are missing the front portion was not only for giving men room for their balls.
Oh, wait.
But maybe it's also to prevent women from peeing under the seat. So maybe we missed that.
This guy has some weird
First of all,
balls.
I think he said his name was Blank. Or maybe he said it was Frank. It's like my friend Carrie's dad was like, she's like, Dad, I'm going outside. And he was like, outside? What's that? Why? I don't know what to say. First of all, I never thought about this. There is the horseshoe kind of toilet
that
seat.
Wordplay joke, Sarah. Very funny.
And then there's the all the way around kind. The horseshoe is for what? It's for men's balls? Where do the balls go? That little lip, that little open area. What? Where are your balls? Guys, Roger, do you have anything here? Is there...
I don't...
Okay, Sarah and I are actually in agreement on one thing. This guy has weird balls.
No, this is the first I've heard of this theory, that women pee under seats. I've never heard it.
I think that's guys pee.
Don't think I've seen evidence of it personally, but I don't know. The horseshoe thing, that's a high minority of toilet seats. I'm talking maybe 10% of toilet seats are horseshoe, I think. So I don't think it's a popular toilet seat.
But toilet seat covers look like the horseshoe.
Yeah, no.
But I put them the other way.
That's true. They do. They are like a horseshoe. That's true. Yeah, you rip out that thing. I guess I found this guy amusing. I'm not sure.
Okay, I am starting to notice a pattern. We've done 2 Sarah Silverman shows, and both started off with just a complete downer of a call, and then she gets to other ones. I think that's what her producer is doing, is front-loading it with the producer is front-loading her comedy podcast with things that are in no way, shape, or form funny, and then eventually it's comedy fodder to play with. I think that's a failing strategy. I think you need a new producer.
Not sure his theories make a lot.
I'll come in as associate producer, as I will with everyone, and earn my stripes as a real producer, Pinocchio.
A lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean,
don't know what he's talking about with the balls.
Why does a horseshoe toilet seat make room for your balls? I'd love to know that. I'd love to know how a woman peeing out of her vagina into a bowl would touch the rim of said bowl. But, I mean, listen, sometimes if I push really hard, it kind of, there's a mist. There's like a sea breeze.
A little mist of pee.
Oh, good for you.
Now you're admitting to, you're copping to it.
But I mean, not real. I mean, I don't know. But hold on, I will say, and Roy's not gonna like this. And he said, if you're gonna talk about me, at least run it by me first. But I'm just gonna say this: when I get up in the morning to pee, there are like 1 to 3 drops on the floor. And I said, Rory, if you pee in the middle of the night, just sit down and pee. And he said, I will never do that. And I was just like, I feel like that's
that's just silliness. It's so easy to stand up and pee, but yeah, sometimes, especially when you're very drunk, is a great time to go ahead and sit down and take a pee because you need to sit down. Speaking of which, should we get Sarah drunk? Sarah, let's hear how you sound when you're drunk. I think you might be you might bring out the old Sarah, huh?
Toxic masculinity talking.
Toxic masculinity, drink. First toxic masculinity, first mention of the patriarchy of the show, and it's while she's tickling some balls.
Like why is there shame around sitting down to pee if you're a man?
I know, Sarah. I'm actually with you on this one, drunk Sarah. Like, it's so silly to call that drunk masculinity. But have you people heard of the guys who will not wipe their butthole properly? That is toxic waste masculinity. No, I will not wipe my butthole properly. I'm not a fagula. I will not take the poop out of my butt. It lives in my underwear now. That's where it lives. And I just have brown underwear because it turns that way eventually, because I am not a homosexual who puts things in my butt, even toilet paper to take the shit out.
Like, I guess that's a
That's
thing.
right. We're talking to drunk Sarah. You're just so much more loose when you're drunk, Sarah. I forgot that you had a few drinks. Are you old Sarah again? Or are you still that Sarah who was a husk of herself and reminds me of that relative who we don't see anymore for a good reason?
Like, but that guy fucking sits down to pee. But I see no shame in it. I mean, just like you don't have to be a hero. This isn't target practice.
Yeah, don't be a hero like Mr. Isak up front. You don't want to paint horrible events in the future.
Anyway, there you go. What else?
He knitted the Twin Towers in May 2001. I don't want him to knit any other cityscape anywhere. Please stop it, Mr. Sam, I believe it was.
Hey, best friend, Sarah. So
she doesn't know how to take that. Look at her being very nervous at this. Is this a full call-in show? Why do you even have a separate jingle to say, here's some voicemails, when the whole show is just voicemails? It's the Sarah voicemail show, and she is very frightened right now of how this is going to pan out, of my best friend Sarah coming from someone who she doesn't know and has never met.
I'll try to make it succinct. I made a friend about 6 years ago and spent a lot of time together. A girl best friend.
This guy is a weirdo. Listen to the way he talks. Oh boy. Sarah is getting more and more aware that she does not want this man to be her best friend, because there is something, there is a screw or five loose.
And after, I don't know, a couple years, I don't know, shit started to look weird with her. Turns out she's a complete fraud and total piece of shit. I had no idea. I
think he got rejected. I think this was his real good friend, and then it was time to move it up to romance in his mind, and he got rejected. That is my interpretation of her not being a good person at all. But let's hear more. Maybe I'll change my interpretation of how this weirdo became no longer friends with his best gal.
Thought she was great. So, number one, I feel really stupid because I had a few friends that sort of questioned my helping her, I suppose. They're like, well, this sounds a little weird and blah, 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 blah. So that's why I'm calling you. But really what I want to know is, number one, has something like this ever happened to you?
Not enough information, sir. I had this friend. She was a lady. She was friends. We were friends, and then she was a phony. Not enough information. I believe you were the one with a screw or five loose, and this lady friend was just a lady. Could be wrong there. You did not give me enough information to work on.
Is he calling from inside a birdcage?
You're like a famous and rich person, so people are trying to fraud you, I would imagine, sometimes. I'm, comfortable. I'm not wealthy or anything, and this is not.
Now you're rambling on about nothing when you could be telling us details about this story so we could give you actual information. We could give you actual feedback on if you are a crazy person or if she is a bad person. I don't know. Fucked if I know.
I mean, I'm out a little bit, but it was more about my time and, that kind of thing. Secondly, how do you vet people into your life?
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you.
I vet animals into my life. I doctor people into my life. Did I say that joke right? I vet animals into my life. I doctor people into my life. Dumb wordplay joke, but there it is. I said it twice. Buzzing.
It sounds like you had some good times with her. Maybe it was worth it. Maybe you got a high quality lesson out of it. Yeah, I got bamboozled a couple times when I first lived in New York City, and then
Bamboozled. That would be a word of the day. Cherry is going wild. Bamboozled. Yeah. I can't pull that clip. Another dabbler, B dabbler himself. El Horrible has that clip, and I want to be a little bit different from the people who I would have a shared audience with. I would imagine I would have a shared audience with one viewer. Are you a El Horrible fan?
and then once out here from someone in my apartment building. But for the most part, I have a pretty good. I think maybe from those things actually, I have grown a pretty good bullshit detector, and I've learned to trust my.
How's your bullshit detector with that caller? Because mine was going off.
My gut, completely, and that's how I navigate that stuff. I don't have much more else to say, but that you
And that's all Sarah has to say about that.
use this as a valuable lesson. Go back and think about what those red flags were, so that next time you might trust your gut a little bit more.
Here's some ads.
Zoc.
Yeah, your jingles are giving me the chills of the douche variety. I wish she had some more pre-recorded
Deeply
commercials.
private.
Those were
I simply just
terrible.
FORDOGS.com/Sarah.
Terrible.
Upgrade your pup to Sundays and feel good about the food you feed your dog.
And we're back.
Hi, Sarah. I just wanted to catch up with you about when
You wanted to catch up with Sarah? Because I wanted to mustard with Sarah. Fuck yeah, Chipper. I was supposed to play the video. I wasn't supposed to do that twice.
it's important to be honest with people about issues that are deeply private. I have 2 health issues, one of which is not as serious as the other, but they both create some distance around me and other people. The first health issue is a mental illness, and it's one of the dramatic ones. I take very good care of myself, and can't have it completely under control, but I'm in pretty good shape. So, but I have been shunned when I have told people this, or they have used it as an excuse.
You're in pretty good shape, huh? Oh, you're round? Someone's got to add some jokes to this. Jesus Christ, Sarah.
When we have a disagreement, it's not the facts or the circumstances, it's the fact of my illness that has caused a disagreement. So when I meet new people, it takes me a while to tell them.
Bipolar, schizophrenia, help me out here, lady.
And then sometimes
these callers stink with the amount of information that they're giving. How are we supposed to get advice when you're being so fucking vague?
It feels like, oh my God, I haven't told them in all this time. And now
the Vague Caller Vague Advice Show. It's all vague around here, folks. The patriarchy is bad. Do not give us specific reasons on why it's bad. It's just bad here on the Sarah Silverman Advice Show.
I'm going to hurt their feelings when I reveal this big secret. So that's one illness. And the other is I have herpes, and it's just
whoa, shit, damn. Too bad it's not the 1800s. They didn't think too much of people having herpes. But what is that mental illness? Come on, are you a system? Do you have the multiple personalities? We can't give you advice when you're like, I got a mental problem and I got the herpes. So good luck with the herp there.
Killed my sex life, and I'm overwhelmed. I've done tons of research. There's no perfect way.
Now, a herpes support group. Once again, let's go to the support group. There are herpes support group orgies. I mean, why not? Why the fuck not?
Of protecting somebody, but it's created this barrier, and I really
part of a BDSM group where everyone is HSV2 or HSV1.
Some help about how to discuss that. So anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Listen, everyone has things. Everyone.
But not everyone has bumps on their genitals.
Every single person has things. I don't know what your mental health issue is. You said it was pretty heavy. My brain's.
Yeah, Sarah can't help you. I can't help you. What the fuck is wrong with your brain? I told people what the fuck's wrong with my brain.
Going to schizophrenia.
Sometimes. Yeah, I was accused of the schizophrenia. It's the bipolar 2, folks, that it appears to be what's wrong with its noggin. Many more signs of the bipolar 2 than the schizophrenia.
Or bipolar.
But being an actor, the schizophrenia, going and pretending to be another person for 12 hours a day, that does weird things to your head. Like the way I cross my legs, I cross it like a man at the ankle, and you can't see my legs. But the character I was playing always crossed his legs like a lady at the knee. And for months and months after I was done with that role, I would be crossing my leg at the knee just naturally. And then I like celebrated one day when I crossed my legs at the ankle, and I looked down. I'm me again. Yay. So actors, probably have some more undiagnosed schizophrenia, higher amount than the general population.
Bipolar, both of which can be managed with medication. You do not.
Bipolar 2 can be managed. Well, I believe I have it very, very mildly, but damn, do I have some symptoms.
Have to share that with anyone if you don't feel comfortable sharing it with anyone. I mean, it's a piece of you. It's a part of what makes you a beautiful, unique human being and a part of humanity. And I would say if you're in a relationship with someone.
And it's the cycles. Like the bipolar is like it's about the cycles of mania and depression. Like the depressive, you get down, and it's different for different people, but no one seeks help during mania phases. Well, hypomania is a smaller. It's not full on mania. Mania is madness, but hypomania is fucking fun. No one seeks help when they're in a state of hypomania.
Someone they should know, but it shouldn't matter. And with the right person, it won't matter. I always say, like, those kinds of things, if they drive people away, good. It's a good screening system for people who are not going to be there for the long haul. As for
are you going to drive them away and you dodge a dart?
Herpes, I think 1 in 4 people have it. Isn't that right, Raj? Let's see. There's 4 of us here. Me, Travis, Raj.
I'm just from a quick Google. It says that 1 in 4 women have herpes and 1 in 8 men do.
1 in 4 women have herpes and 1 in 8 men do.
Yeah, it kind of seems.
That makes me so angry because I guarantee.
Wow, 1 in 4. I am a lucky bastard going through my whore phase without getting infected. One of the most happiest moments I ever had at the doctor is when he said, "It's definitely not herpes. Here, take this, and it'll go away. It's not herpes. It's not genital warts."
Guarantee you, most of those women got it from men. Maybe not, but I'm going to guess they did. Anyway, a substantial amount of the population has it. And if you're careful, it doesn't have to be an issue. I just know because I had a boyfriend in my 20s who had oral herpes, and he could
HSV1.
Always tell. And by the way, he got it from his first kiss when he was 15.
Oh, you rolled a 1 in D&D. You kissed your first girl. Roll a 1. Herpes. Oh, you poor bastard.
Which is so heartbreaking and adorable. But he always could tell. He had a sensation if one would, before it even became visible at all. He could feel it like a tingle, and he would steer clear of me. He was very responsible. It wasn't something I had to remember, or he would, even if I forgot and went to kiss him, he would stop me. He was very, very, very conscious of it. And we were together for a few years, and he never gave it to me. And I felt really safe because he was so conscious of it.
Did he give you HSV1 on your vagina? Because HSV1 and 2, they call them oral and genital, but I believe they can show up in either place.
And so, this doesn't feel like the right word, anal about it. But
fuck yeah, Sarah. I didn't think I was gonna give you a rim shot this show. You're so serious.
It doesn't have to be a thing. And again, it's a great screening system, you know. Like, the person who stays with you is gonna love you, and you're lovable and worthy of love, and you are most certainly not the only person with bipolar or schizophrenia or depression or whatever big mental health issue that you said you had, and herpes. You're not the only one with both of those things, not by a long shot. Know that. Okay, what else?
Hey, Sarah, how are you? I just saw your show. It was awesome.
Yeah, this is just the Sarah Silverman advice show. Like Bill Burr relationship advice. He kind of got into that as people just started emailing him relationship advice. Once one person did, and it's a fun, fascinating segment. Bill Burr and Patrice O'Neill talking about relationship advice is very entertaining. Sarah Silverman talking about self-harm for 30 minutes you're really making me work for this co-host position. And I really need help from these rim shots because, wow, this is difficult, Sarah. This is not a comedy show.
Backstage, and while I want to remain anonymous, I will say we were the group that you had that exchange about the
There's a group for anonymous people. Anonymous.
green flannel shirt.
Oh, I just wore it yesterday.
It was a blast, and we loved it. Anyway, I'm calling with a bit of a dilemma. We have a friend in our circle of friends who's a wonderful, devoted, compassionate, hilarious, life
And they're always last done, and they eat the biscuit in our circle of friends.
of the party friend who's
Wonderful.
especially been there for my partner through some of her darkest days, but she is extremely hard on people in romantic relationships. And in our community, people sort of date around, they date each other,
So she's strapped.
they break up, and they'll date someone else in our friend group.
Totally.
So we do know some of her exes who have categorized these relationships as a bit emotionally abusive. And people can't figure out why we're still friends with this person. But she's a lovely friend, and it's such a dilemma to me, and I don't quite know what to do about it, or if I should be friends with this person still, who I love, or if I should honor the experience of our other friends.
These are so vague. I hate your callers, Sarah. If you're going to be giving advice, they need to be more than like, I've got this friend and we were friends, but now she's not as friendly of a friend that should be a friend, so I don't know if I should be her friend. What the fuck kind of voicemail is this? Are these really the best voicemails that your producer curated? You have fucking producer Joe there? What an incompetent boob this the producer is. If indeed you have other voicemails to choose from, and he's just choosing these vague ones. Oh, man. All right. We've got what's going to happen first? Am I going to call this quits, or are we going to get to the end of it?
So I wonder what you think about that. Thanks.
Of course I remember you, by the way. I wore that green plaid shirt yesterday. I can't get it to look as good on me as it was on your friend. But, I love it. It's so soft. Anyway, listen, I think it is okay to stay friends with someone who's a great friend and who is shitty in relationship. I have many, many comedian friends who I love with my entire heart that I would not fix up with someone I cared about in a million years because they cheat and they're shitty in relationship. They're not good in romantic relationship. You know, we're living in this time where everyone must be wonderful in all aspects of life to warrant love.
Didn't you get on the cancel culture train, Sarah? Aren't there some people who are problematic that you got on the cancel culture train of, and now you're going the other way? Get Stuttering John in here with the hypocrisy police.
You know, it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't know if this is right or wrong advice, but this is how I do it, you know?
As I've said, I myself can't get Stuttering John in here. Big mistake. He has blocked me on Twitter. Please let him know so we can rectify that situation, because obviously he didn't do it on purpose.
Now, I don't know which friend is closer, or if, you know, this is going to be a problem with your friends that are exes with this person.
I mean, look, John, I put me in the clown car. You're not in the clown car. You're in the hypocrisy police pride cruiser. I'm in the clown car. And D is on her tractor as usual for the D Tractor Show. What are you rambling on about now, Sarah? That is it still about comedians and relationships? Because they're fucking awful, Adam. Anyone who's been in a open mic stand-up scene knows they're fucking awful.
Person, so you may have to
do romantic relationships,
do like a pros versus cons list,
and friendships.
But yeah, I get it.
And finances.
The lesbian community is just like the stand-up community.
And self-help.
And they, of course, in the Venn diagram of both overlap because there are many lesbian comedians. And I know it is a totally incestuous community. You know, that's like, you know, I lost my virginity to a comedian and
Kevin Brennan. We know.
Slept with comedians. Comedians were my pool of boyfriends, and they all still exist in my world because we're comics. We see each other on the road all the time. It's the same. It's very similar. So I get
you
that.
Wish it was Neil Brennan. Are you embarrassed that it was Kevin Brennan?
You are in that same pool. You know, but it's a pool of people you're going to date within, and it's a pool of people that are going to be your friends forever, and there's always going to be that stuff. So good luck. Listen, I have friends that aren't perfect. Can you imagine? Can you even believe it? I have friends that have not figured out a healthy relationship.
Do you have friends that are Republicans?
I have friends that are shitty in other aspects of life, and I still love them. Can you imagine? And good luck. And I really loved meeting you,
Whoa, that looked like a hard cut. Like, I know it's a different camera angle, but it looks like this was later. It looks like something was cut here because and it wasn't the first caller. But Sarah, did she give bad advice? She doesn't put these up live. These aren't lives. I would like to be her co-host with her lives to show her what our dynamic could be like. But these are post-production videos.
By the way, I remember it was like they were like, oh, there are some like people from the board of the theater that you have to meet, and I was like, oh, like in my mind I had such a different vision, and then I met you guys and I was like, oh, we would be friends, like I know you, like, you know, we're the same kind of ilk, so that I had a real nice time meeting you guys, y'all. All right, what else?
Hi, Sarah. I had a question.
Sarah, who are you? Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We've got this woman with a jean jacket on. Where is Mime Sarah? What the? Actually, this happened last time when she was wearing the hoodie after wearing her librarian's outfit for so long. This is so odd. What is the deal, producer? What can't we just call it a day with the show? What is so important about this other call of her in this other outfit that needs to be so jarring? Is this an audio podcast mainly? What is this podcast? Seriously.
You guys, y'all. All right, what else?
Hi, Sarah. I had a question on what your take is on leading a sort of self-destructive lifestyle that a lot of young people and even older people, you know, kind of get stuck in as far as drugs and alcohol. I recently had an altercation in the office.
Fantastic. Another hilarious voicemail. Thank you for including this hilarious voicemail from a different day in this comedy podcast.
So just while I was blacked out on rum, and I thought I had a better idea of how to handle it from seeing my own father, who was an alcoholic, and dozens of other Native Americans on the reservation I grew up on. So seeing all that, it made me feel like I can go into it, you know, and sort of like have better control of myself. But after seeing this, I can see that I'm still kind of growing up. And you know, the first thing I did when I got home was I threw my shot glasses away. I'm done with shots, and I guess I'm just kind of wondering.
Put it on the rocks. Yeah, I don't take the shots. Put it on the rocks. Enjoy the whiskey.
Like, I mean, if you've ever had a type of like point in your life where, you know, the things you did were self-destructive, how did you sort of overcome it? And, you know, if you ever had problems with the law, like, I don't know. I guess my basic question is, how do you think I can improve myself from being self-destructive, I guess, you know, to sum it up.
I think this is...
Once again, very vague. What the fuck are you doing that's self-destructive? Are you ruining relationships? Is there self-harm like the first caller? Sarah Silverman's vague advice show.
Huge, you know, just
give vague advice, get vague answers.
Just seeing the pattern is huge. This is the stuff. There are people that don't even see that, you know. Now you have to break the pattern. And boy, you know, the AA is a great way to do it. Why? Because it's just you have support. You're with a room of people going through the same thing.
Oh, that's right. He did say the alcoholism, but was that it? It sounded like there were other things. It's
various stages of it. The people farther ahead of you are going to be your support system. The people newer than you, you're going to be a support system for, and all of it just helps stay sober.
Why did I do a Sarah Silverman?
So I'm glad you threw away your shot glasses. If you're really looking to be sober, you got to throw it all away.
Because it got a couple of dozen views, and that's
find other ways
channel
to get relief. You know, it's above my pay grade to talk about.
Please watch the Donkey Lips video,
you know,
so I can justify doing a Donkey Lips video over Sarah Silverman 3. Sarah, Jesus Christ. Do people come out of watching this show in a good mood? You are bringing me the fuck down, lady. God damn.
Has led to a lot of alcoholism within, you know, is a thing. And it's a thing that I don't know enough to talk about, but to just kind of reference and say, I know there's a whole other layer to it, you know, that is cultural and put upon you culturally. And I'm just proud of you for seeing a pattern that you don't want for yourself and making a change. But it sounds like you're really on the right track. That's all I've got. I'm sorry. Your question was smarter and more insightful than my answer. Truly.
Jesus Christ. Really? This very funny phone call had to be included at the end of the very funny podcast that started with cutting. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's going. All right. Good luck.
Hey, Sarah. It's Jammin calling from up the road in North Hollywood.
Oh, we're back. Mime Sarah's back. What the? Why? Oh man, I don't know if I can do this to myself again. Please, no one watch this, so I have a reason to not do this again. Jesus, fuck.
Hollywood, California. I love the podcast. I've been a fan of yours since the T-Mobile Sidekick commercials. There's a flashback for you.
What?
I've been listening to many episodes, and I have to say, you sound like a bit of a therapist, and I think this podcast is such an incredible...
What kind of therapist is this guy? Oh, no. Are you seeing Howard Stern's therapist? Because no.
Do you know what the fuck is going on? Period. Fuck you.
This guy does not know what the fuck is going on. Period. Sarah would make a great therapist. Jesus.
Incredible gift you're giving your fans. And it got me thinking, what would Sarah Silverman have done with her life if she wasn't a successful comedian?
What would Sarah Silverman be doing with her life?
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Get the fucking thing together, fuck you.
She would not be getting the thing together, that's for sure, Lily.
/ public figure / actress. And I Googled it and I couldn't find anything. So did you have any sort of backup plan if things hadn't worked out in the entertainment industry? Like, what do you think you would have done? I thought maybe something in the mental health field, but I thought I'd go straight to the...
Jesus Christ. No, she is not Bill Burr. She is not Patrice O'Neill. Those guys have legitimate claims to actually giving sound advice to people. If Sarah Silverman gives me advice...
Leave me the fuck alone.
And the way that she would tell me to live my life...
No! God damn it! You fucked it up, god damn you!
Oh man, this guy is unwell.
To the source. So just wanted to know. Love ya. All the best.
Hey, NoHo. I never had a backup plan. Yeah, I mean, my dad talked to me, got me to drop out of college, so I really had no backup plan. But I'm glad.
You're a pretty lady. Your backup plan was a rich fellow. You may not have known that, but you're a pretty lady. Well, not when you're just a husk of a human filled with just grief that you claim that you're doing good with.
I mean, he did the right thing. It's funny because then I would like play colleges as a comic and do gigs there, and around that age, and I was like, oh, I would have loved this, grassy campus and all that experience, but this was the path that I'm on. But I never had a backup plan, but I have mused about what I would do if I wasn't a comedian or a writer or an actor or anything else, show busy shit. I think I would be maybe a teacher. I'd probably be a teacher like junior high school, or I would maybe work with mentally challenged adults. All right, well, Dad.
Her third outfit of the show. There's a joke to be had with those mentally challenged adults. I'll just leave it there.
This is the time of the show where I say subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts.
Oh, that's a good idea, Sarah. Same thing over here. Let's get to that shill segment. Since Sarah Silverman is done, you can like, subscribe, hit that notification button, give me a comment, and some do all the horse shit all the other people who shill their shit say. Chat, comment, blah, 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 blah. Help channel, blah, blah, blah. Email me here. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let's never do a Sarah Silverman show again. Jesus Christ. On to Birdie. Birdie, we brought last time to the Sarah Silverman show because she's a positive lady. What do you have to tell us about today, Birdie?
Well, let's bring him out. Here's Eric Cartman.
Whatever.
Birdie living her best life, doing the things that make her happy.
Well, let's bring him out. Here,
her showing her minimalist family, her newest decor piece. And if you do not recall Birdie from before, she has actually,
Eric
let's
Cartman.
take a look in the background because she has a corn stool. That little yellow thing right there, that is a corn stool. The fact that you own something that can be called a corn stool that lives in your living room that is not feces, absolutely love you, Birdie.
Whatever.
Here we have some giant crayons. She has candy bars on her steps. And I think we need a funny clown for Sarah Silverman. Maybe that will get her more in the mood. And we do see this funny clown at the beginning of every show now. She is part of my intro video. This is BV Key. I absolutely adore this creator with this funny clown routine. Oh, yeah. I wanted to get this in the different view. I go for the different view for the TikToks. Split out. That one. Got to work on the hey subreddit surfing. Thank you for joining us here. We just had a terrible episode with Sarah Silverman. I should never do that to myself again. She is very unwell and she is giving advice to people. It is not good. And I do have a pitch for a subreddit surfing episode. So I will have to email you guys to see what you think about that pitch. Actually, I have a lot of pitches. I have a lot of horseshit I can go on and on about, but on with the funny clown show and subreddit surfing. I am dressed as a mime today. Sarah Silverman was dressed as a mime. I am dressed for success. So, funny clown show. What do you got?
Welcome back, everyone. I'm so glad you decided to join me again. But before we start, it's time to do our laundry. It's so dark in here. Let's turn on the light.
Turn on the light. I like the dark. You can't see in the dark.
All done. That wasn't so hard now, was it? Oh my, it's almost nighttime. Let's all go outside and say goodbye to the sun.
Bye, son.
Bye, son. Thank you for today. Well, I should head to bed before Mother gets angry. We don't want to upset our parents now, do we? Thanks for watching, and remember,
Don't hump your leg outside of your blanket past 11.
bye now.
Thanks for joining again, King of All Diffs. You were just in time for our sexy clown. We were talking sexy clowns before. I believe we featured 3 different sexy clowns, one with big titties. The other ones do not have big titties. And what else do we have? We have someone with some life advice. Sarah likes to go against the patriarchy for vague reasons, because fuck the patriarchy. And we have the Roma Army fans giving a different perspective.
Bringing back a series called Red Flags for Men. Quick disclaimer, I understand that this can be applied to both men and women. However, the reason why I'm saying men is because I see a lot of girls making videos, bringing awareness to, narcissistic behaviors in men. But, there's nothing for you guys. So let's get it. The cell phone problem. Oh, God.
Sarah Silverman told me patriarchy bad, men bad. Really? Men have problems too? Tell me more.
Cell phone. If she comes into the relationship expecting that she can just go through your phone whenever she wants, no, red flag. Men and women, you both have the right to your own privacy, and you have a right to have that privacy without somebody saying, oh, you're hiding something. No, that's just something that they say 9 times out of 10 to make you be like, oh, okay, don't fall for it. The reason why this is such a big red flag is because it shows that she hasn't dealt with any of her baggage. Remember, ladies.
Are you listening, Sarah? Someone who hasn't dealt with their baggage.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't deal with what has hurt you, then you will bleed on those that never cut you. Thank you.
You mean like men at large? Sarah Silverman? And since we have the most amount of live viewers since we've had for the entire episode, why not go to one more from the Roma Army? I pulled 2 for her from her in case we got once again some people coming at the end. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Vinny or Cardiff there as subreddit surfing, but hello, subreddit surfing. Big fan of both of yours. I did email Cardiff a pitch for a show. I actually have a movie review show I would like to do with Cardiff or El Horrible. They're having enough trouble getting together for the second episode of Yo, Remember the 90s. So I imagine it would be one by one instead of together with the movie review show with Cardiff oh, hey, Vinny. Vinny, my pitch for you. I want to do an all elite wrestling review show with you. I have one wrestling video on my channel, and it's just very dull with one person. And you, I have heard, are still watching All Elite Wrestling, and I absolutely do not. So I have a pitch for a pilot episode of Vinny and Dillon talk about wrestling. Unless you're still doing your wrestling show, I can come on board that and would like to talk about AEW's debut and where I went from supporting them to just banging my head against a fucking wall. And that was before their merch issues came up. That bugs the hell out of me. Oh, Vinny's actually agreeing with me. Yeah, it is really hard to watch these days. The Saturday show is supposed to have a different show, a different tone, supposedly, hopefully. And yeah, I would really like to talk about the debut of All Elite Wrestling with you, because there was a specific match where I got angry, with the booking that was going on there. But I was talking about getting this video of Roma. Roma has some more advice, the Roma Army for men and women. We got relationship advice from Sarah Silverman, and I recommend no one in the world takes Sarah Silverman's advice. So that's why I got a counterpoint with the Roma Army here.
I forgot how useless men are nowadays. I remember a couple weeks ago, my car wouldn't start, and it was the most annoying thing ever because it was 3 a.m. We just got out of a party, like we're tired, just want to go home. My car wouldn't start. So naturally, I call every guy that I know that's in the greater Cincinnati area.
At 3 a.m. At 3 a.m., every guy in my contacts list gets a call from me.
Right. Half of them were asleep, so I'm not mad at them. But of those that were awake, either they didn't have jump brigade.
Okay, you're asleep at 3 a.m. That's okay. But do you think you might have woken up some of those people at 3
They
a.m.?
didn't know what to do, or they didn't know how to do it, blah, 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 blah.
And do you think some of those people who said, I don't know how to do it, just were like, I don't want to go back to fucking sleep. Jesus Christ, I don't know how to do that. I think some of them might have known how to do it.
First of all, I think that there's a lot of humor and irony in the fact that men are useless for not knowing how to do something that you, in fact, yourself don't know how to do. But honestly, lady, I can't be too mad at you because I was literally just thinking the other day about how useless and worthless women were because my male best friend, he was having a tough day. He was hungry, and women who aren't even his girlfriend didn't immediately get on their knees for him and then start cooking him a meal. Like, worthless.
Fucking bitches. Thank you, Roma Army, for filling in the gaps of where we do not see. I do have one more video here. This would be, I am trying to put together a tour for Sarah Silverman. That's what the last one was focused on. I believe Sarah Silverman, as I mentioned at the front of the show, should be touring with the Stampin' Up! Convention. She should be making cards for her friends and family. Here is my Christmas cards from last year I was able to dig up. And you just find a creative passion, Sarah. And I swear that charming, happy Sarah will be back. She is in denial of how much of a dark black hole that she is in.
Welcome back to I Rate Candy Bars, where I rate candy bars. Today's candy bar is a Hershey's with popping candy. It's white chocolatey and crackly. Plus 1,776 points. Because it's lit.
A very patriotic point for this patriotic bar.
Thank you for watching me rate candy bars.
Thank you for being so deadpan. I love deadpan-ness. Deadpanery. King of all diffs. Hey, Roma Army is awesome. Give her a follow over on TikTok. I'm not sure if she has a presence on any other formats, but Persian Latina, I gave a plug to recently. I went down an ASMR comedy cringe rabbit hole, and that's why there is a dumb ASMR comedy cringe on my channel, and there might be more because it's so low effort. And anything that gets more views than Donkey Lips, co-host audition, I believe, is possible for more episodes, because I'm definitely doing another Donkey Lips episode and no one watched it. So anything that gets above no one watching it of someone watching it might get a second episode. Thank you for joining once again. This is the end of the broadcast week. I will either be doing gameplay or a ASMR cringe comedy on Sunday, Stuttering John's Shuli Detractor show on Monday, and 3 more episodes of Co-Host Audition next week, 11 a.m. Tuesday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern, I should say. Our good buddy Stuttering John gets very confused about that, and I would like to keep him up to date with that. But as I said, he has mistakenly blocked me when he meant to retweet me. That's Silly Butterfingers John. I'll definitely be in the live stream of Stuttering John's nonsense. But thank you, King of all diffs. Thank you, Subreddit Surfing, Vinny, and everyone else for joining. Like, subscribe, all that shenanigans, and I can get a part-time job in the fall rather than a full-time job, and that would just be dandy. Thank you for coming. Now, please, go check out my other videos.